I love this city. I wanted to share some of my first impressions about Chiang Mai and why I decided to live here for a month. If I could describe it simply, it's a stoner's paradise. Because in this country, marijuana is legal. You can get weed everywhere. There are weed shops at every corner. There is unlimited, cheap street food that's very, very good. You can find boba for really cheap. Usually when I travel, what I like to do is I'll go to a place, I'll rent a couple days in a hostel just to see if I can get the vibe of the city. I like hostels because you always get to meet people, you get to do activities with people. If you just go with the flow, every day is a new adventure. I never really valued or appreciated safety until I lived in Latin America and I live here, you know, just the drastic difference between the two makes you really appreciate it. Living with that constant insecurity or fear that something's gonna happen to you or someone's gonna rob you does a lot to your mental health. And Chiang Mai is just a really chill city, man. You just want to lay back, chill, smoke some weed and relax and meet people. It's just a very good vibe and it's exactly what I need right now. Something funny that I noticed here in Thailand is the cables. You're gonna notice cables everywhere in the city. It's not something that I would say is a deal breaker or anything, but it's just a very funny fact. So here in Chiang Mai, there are a few areas that are most popular areas. So you have the old city, that's where most of the hostels are. So a lot of the people who are tourists are gonna be living there. And then you have an area called Nimin, which is new up and coming. You heard it here first. I think investment here is going to skyrocket within the next few years. It reminds me a lot of Poblao and Medellin, how it probably was 10 years ago. There's a lot of these really high-end restaurants and desserts and coffee shops, a lot of really nice apartments that are coming out. I just see so much growth here. The expat scene here is already getting bigger, but I can imagine in the next couple of years it's gonna get much, much bigger. So you heard it here first. Something I really appreciate about Thailand or Chiang Mai, there is a really bustling coffee scene here, but not just coffee. Also tea. I'm not the biggest coffee person. I'll drink it. When I was in Colombia, obviously I drink coffee all the time because living in the coffee region, you have to. But tea has always been my preference. Here, you get the best of both worlds because you get coffee that's really good, even though it's a little strong for my taste. But if you don't want that, you can easily get tea, iced tea. Plus you have boba, you have all the toppings, and they're available at any hour of the night. So for me, I'm just so happy being in this environment because I love that food. I swear I drink Thai tea 2 or 3 times a day. I'm addicted to that stuff. It's so good and it's so cheap. It's $1 each time, man. You can't go wrong with that. Chiang Mai is also a university city. Why I loved Manizales so much is because it was a nice small city. It was also a university city. You get very similar vibes here. When I first arrived at Chiang Mai, I was just constantly comparing it to Manizales. I couldn't help myself. And then it took me a couple days to be you know what? No, I have to learn to appreciate Chiang Mai for what it is. And then when I did that, finally, I was oh yeah, okay. Now I understand the appeal. At least at this point in my life right now, Chiang Mai is the perfect place for me to be. The university area is actually very, very cool too. There's a lot of locals that go out there with a lot of street food stands and everything. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I would live here for a long period of time. Not because I don't like Chiang Mai, but I guess growing older, you know, I don't want to make extremely rash decisions super quickly. I think if I spend too much time here, I would just end up smoking weed every day, eating, and just living a life that's too relaxed. So something I really love about Thai culture, it's very much about going with the flow and just relaxing and vibing, you know? Just the nature of the Thai people plus the Buddhist roots of the country. Something that God has been trying to teach me over the last few months is really just to go with the flow and not try to control everything. When I was younger, you have this idea in your mind of what you think your life is gonna turn out like. You just continue to grow and get older and you realize, dang, I know nothing about life. As soon as I got in Chiang Mai, I'm I don't really wanna work. And when I was living in the hostel, I just wake up, I ask what everybody else is doing. If it sounds like a good idea, I just go with them. I went to meditate with a monk with these Portuguese girls. We went to a temple. Girls Hong, she's from the Netherlands and she's Chinese as well. Davin's Canadian and he's Chinese as well. Donald is Canadian and Chinese as well. And he is not Chinese. Gabriel is 100% Australian.
This moment in time will never be captured ever again.
100%.
Wow. Luck every moment.
Just do whatever I feel like in the moment, you know, really just trying to go with the flow. And I think since I've been doing that, you know, I've been much more happy, much more peaceful. Women have been coming into my life, but I don't really pursue them like that. I just know that, okay, I may be attracted to this girl, but if it doesn't really work out, I'm not gonna force anything. It's just gonna flow. So yesterday I went to take a Muay Thai class in the morning, met a couple of the buddies, and when I went to go see them, we were gonna go get a massage, but I ran into this girl who's like Israeli. Ended up spending the whole entire day together. We just hung out. Obviously she spent the night, we did our thing, but it was just easy. It was just like a nice flow. I mean, she was really sexy too. She had one of the nicest bodies I've ever seen. I've been listening to a lot of Tao teachings about going with the flow, letting go. Man, it's been helping me a lot getting over my divorce and helping me realize that even though the divorce is very sad, obviously, but it's just a natural part of life. You just have to just keep going with the flow. And I think that I am much happier doing that rather than trying to live a very organized and strict life like I did when I was a Christian. So who knows, you know, I'm not saying that one's better than the other. I think this is just more natural and in tune with who I am as a person. So I went to a shabu shabu restaurant. In our Asian culture, it's essentially like hot pot in the middle, and they bring you raw meats, they bring you raw vegetables, and you put it all together in this hot pot and you eat it with like rice or udon noodles. And I just love it because you can add whatever you want. It's a buffet style and it costs like 300 baht, so like $9. Nowadays I don't eat as much as I did when I was younger. For some reason here in Thailand, because it's a bunch of rice dishes, like I'll eat and then I'll get hungry in like 3 hours again, just because they're like pretty light meals. So I found myself eating more in general. But there's so many good Asian restaurants around Thailand, just anywhere in the country. Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Thai. If you love Asian food, here is one of the best places for it. And here's a trick. So you get one of the meats and you dip it in the sauce that you made. It's like garlic, ginger, and soy sauce, something. Put it all together. Fire, bro. So good. You know, growing up, my parents always told me to never steal. You know, I've never stolen in my life. Don't cheat people, be a good human being. A lot of countries need religion to implement that, right? And I think maybe here in Thailand, that is also a thing. In a lot of these Asian countries, we just have like a mutual respect for each other. Like theft does not happen in much. Pointing a gun at you and stealing from you, or beating you up on the street, that kind of stuff is not common here at all. I always thought it was funny that when Asian people end up in jail, most of the time it's for like fraud. And there's just like a very strong mutual trust amongst the population. And I love that, man. That's one of my most important values when I pick a place to live. I believe that safety is extremely important. If you're looking for some place that is very safe, I cannot recommend Thailand enough. I've been spending so much money on weed here. I freaking went into a bong bar. It convinced me to buy a bong. I was able to get one for a deal, maybe like 24 bucks. So now I've been smoking from a bong. It's been really, really nice. I deserve a break after everything that went down in Colombia. I'm just gonna enjoy my life for a bit, you know? Week, and then I moved to a different place.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm in Nimin now, right? Which is like the nice popping area. But I prefer living in the chill areas because things are usually cheaper in the smaller, more quiet areas. I really like the local vibe. I'm still gonna be making content, don't worry about that. It's just gonna be a lot less like rigid. I'm just gonna make content when I make content. So maybe once a week and maybe twice a week. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.